This podcast is sponsored by Oran Craic Financial Advisor. Oran is a regulated wealth manager and financial planner based in the UK.
One of the best things that you can do, especially from a young age, is to gain a better understanding of your personal finance and investments, including things like saving tax, pensions, using stock markets for potential growth, and more.
You may usually switch off when you hear people talking about money, but the best thing you can do for yourself is to reach out and learn more about good financial management.
We know firsthand that this information is not complex, nor is it hard to grasp. It costs nothing to reach out to Oran, book a face-to-face or virtual appointment with him, and understand more about what you want from your money.
How's it going, people? Welcome back to another episode of the Here's the Craic podcast. Today we are joined by Maia. Maia, you own the Ticket Bakehouse.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'll not explain who you are. I'll throw it over to you. So
Okay.
for anybody listening or watching, explain who you are and what you do.
Okay, so I am Maia White. I own a cafe in Cullybackey on the old train station. So it is the most beautiful wee building, lying empty for about 50 years, and it just needed a bit more love in it. So my landlord bought it over and I moved in. But it's quite a long story. It's actually a pretty cool opportunity story, random, but I love talking about it because it makes me who I am, basically. But I am a baker by trade, so everything that we make is like in-house baked. It's such a dream for me. It's pure class. So we open every Tuesday to Saturday, and we serve just simple, real honest food. It's just it's baked well and it's humble, and you get what you get, and everything is just made with the best ingredients that I can get, and local, and just nothing's complicated. It's just real traditional baking, and the odd time we'll put on something with a bit of a twist, a bit of a spin, just to kind of keep people going, oh, what's that?
Keep people on their toes.
Yeah
Love it.
And it's just a completely new path for me. It's my whole life now, to be honest. Like, I didn't expect anything like this would happen to me, but here we are. It's a bit mad.
So
I'm just realising that it's called the Ticket Bakehouse because it's like beside the train station. Is that right?
That would be quite right, yeah.
welcome to the podcast, Tommy.
Thanks for joining us. Where have you been?
I think though, I want to delve into that story because you're obviously from the same neck of woods as me, and Aaron's from around Ballymena. Everybody from Ballymena, you have the couple of town wee villages in around Ballymena, Cullybackey being one of the main hubs. And most people know that building in which you're in holds a lot of character, and
it does.
It has been abandoned for most of my all of my life. I've never seen this. The first time I've seen anybody with the lights on and something happening in it. So I'm actually I want to delve into how this came about, but I think before we do that, we'll go right back to the very beginning. So obviously you say you're a baker by trade. A lot of people will say, oh, I started learning this from a young age. So what was sort of your first sort of dipping your toes in the water in terms of baking and sort of drawing this passion out?
So right back to when I was
Take me right
3.
back,
So when I was 3, I decided I was 3 in was it my granny's kitchen or my home kitchen? I think it was my granny's kitchen, making top hats, and I thought I was unreal on my own. I had all this independence, making top hats, the chocolate and the mallows and the wee Smartie, and granny turned around for 2 minutes, and I was sticking the wee Smarties on the top. And she turned around and my hands were just clouded and rainbows. And she was like, what have you been doing? She goes, I was like, Granny, if you lick it and stick it on, it sticks better. So I've always loved baking. Even whenever I was a baby, a child, I've loved making wee silly cupcakes and stuff. So I always knew that it's something that I enjoyed as a hobby, but didn't think that it would become my entire life. But I in school, I did my GCSEs. I did hospitality. I loved it. I loved my teachers. I just loved working with food and baking. It was actually food more at the time, and then I just was like, no, I don't want to go and do my A levels. And in school, I was quite a bright child. I could have had a future and do my A levels and going to uni and stuff, and that's quite the typical thing to do. And I think the mold is being broken now, where people are kind of finding their creativity and they're being like, I don't want to stay in school for 2 more years just for the sake of it. So I decided to leave after GCSEs when I was just turned 16. I was quite young for my year, and that's a scary world. You're still I look at my wee sister whenever she was that age and I'm like, you're just a baby, you're so young. So at the time you think I am so cool and confident and I'm going out into the world on my own, but when you look back it's like, oh, I was really young. And then I decided to go to college and study. It was actually chefing that I wanted to go into, and I'd missed the inter year by a year because it ran every other year. And I was like, oh, right, bummer. I was like, what can I do? And then the bakery course was there and I was like, right, I'll just do this to fill the time.
Yeah.
So this was up in Titanic Court in Belfast Met.
In Belfast Met.
Yeah, best.
Shout out Belfast Met.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
Kind of like Bevo, like.
Huh?
Shout out Belfast, man.
Yeah. There you go.
But best years of my life. I swear it was the best decision. It was the best accidental decision that I've ever made. It was just, I made so many friends. I was so young. My tutors were like incredible. They had so much knowledge to give me. Like I just absorbed it all because I loved every part of it. And it was such an adventure for me. And I thought I was really finding who I am, like in a movie. I was going up in the train every day with my AirPods and being like, oh, I'm a movie star. Getting coffees every day. But that was where my education in bakery started. Yeah. And I just loved it. And then I got myself a wee part-time job in a local bakery, very well-known local bakery. And
Who could that be?
yeah. And they're doing very, very well for themselves now. And it's actually such an inspiration for me. Like it's where I would love to be in a certain length of time. Worked my wee butt cheeks off. Like people ask me what the secret is to sort of working your way up, and it's just find yourself a job and just start saving as much as you can, and you can't really get anywhere without money. But we'll kind of talk about that, I suppose. Just started working in there, so worked in there for 2.5 years while I was studying, and then moved on to somewhere else that had like the baking that I was doing in this bakery was like batch baking, so everything was in large quantity, like making sure everything is like equally presented, and I wanted more finesse in terms of like gold dust and like gold leaf and working with like wacky ingredients, expensive ingredients and real niche things. So I moved up to a cafe that had a really beautiful kitchen, and I loved that job as well. It was a really good, all the jobs that I have had, I've absolutely loved, and I have such a wealth of knowledge from them. It's such an experience. Worked in there for 2.5 years, and then I decided at 17 I was going to start my first business, which was Blondie Bakes. So it suits me quite well. And so everything pink. I loved that business. And it started so simple as one of my mum's good friends at the time asked me to make her son a birthday cake, and I was just like, yeah, cool. And it was this like wee chocolate campfire cake. So I made like shards of like sugar glass and like we matchsticks around it and stuff and make it look like campfire, and it was cool. Like it was a cool wee cake, and I was like, I'm just gonna like post this on social media. So I made like with the crappiest ever wee logo. It was like on Word, and it was just like a pink, I think I just did like a pink background and typed in Blondie Bakes, and that was it. That was my Instagram logo. And I like for the longest amount of time I had like 50 followers, and I was like, oh, this is cool. Like I've got my photo up of my wee cake and I'm gonna give this a shot. And then just stuff just kept happening from that, and I left my second job to focus on Blondie Bakes because I was just getting orders after orders, and the growth of that was quite natural. Like I didn't do any paid marketing because I couldn't afford it. Like I was just a child, and I just like kept making things and asking people if they wanted me to do their birthday cakes, family, just so I could get the pictures to put up. And I mean, they're not good. Like they were terrible. I think I had like a Galaxy, I don't know what phone I had. It wasn't even an iPhone at the time, and I was just snapping away. I actually think I took photos on my tablet, and I was like, I think it's so cool. And it was just like orders every now and then at the start, and then I got busy, and it was a few orders in a week, and then I was kind of like bending backwards for people in the sense that I was maybe doing too much, but I feel like that's got me where I am today. Like doing things for people maybe more than a proper business would, just to show them that I actually really care about like their satisfaction. And, you know, I really, really wanted people to come to me so I could bake them food. Because that's how I express my love for people is through food. Like the way to somebody's heart is through food. That's why I brought you all buns.
How long was the Blondie Bakes sort of like the first thing you started then? Like how long were you doing that for? Like?
I'm technically still doing it. I'm never gonna let that part of me go.
Is that still going on?
Yeah. I mean, my bakery in the cafe is like I've spent a week off. It's supposed to be like my break week. I just painted the whole bakery pink, lined it with like pink LED lights, and got this big massive sticker from a local fella. Put it on the wall. So I still associate with Blondie Bakes because I just love it. It's what started me off. It's really meaningful to me, and it's pink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it like having that success at the start though? Like, did it get to the stage where you're like probably almost making more than you were making at the other bakery and you decided to go out on your own, or was it just?
No, I kind of just think that like I just really enjoyed working for myself. And it was successful because I didn't have rent and rates to pay. Like I was just doing it from my home kitchen or my family's home kitchen, which in itself had struggles because like it's my family's home kitchen. So like I'm trying to respect the fact that my dad needs to make it.
Yeah. Toast, and you're like, no.
I have a cake to ice and dad's trying to make his tuna sandwich and I'm like, give me 10 minutes. But yeah, that was difficult. So like working from home has taught me so much. And then I just got to the point where I was really enjoying it, but home was home, work was home. Like I was always home and there was no escape. So I was like, I'm just going to get a job. Worked in a deli, a really well-known deli in Ballymena. And that was probably one of the most social jobs I had because I was face to face with a lot of people. Like it's a very random job making sandwiches when you're a baker, but I absolutely loved it. I thought it was class because you're seeing, you're like building relationships with people and there's still like customers from there that I would see now and they're like, well, how's it going? And they are also so supportive. Like so many of my old work colleagues from there and from my previous job come into me all the time. And it's so amazing to have that kind of support from businesses that are bigger than you, like cheering you on.
Yeah.
Because it's a scary world.
Yeah.
Like I'm still a baby. Like I'm only 22. I'll be 23 on Saturday.
Happy birthday
for
Saturday.
You
should have brought you cake.
Oh yeah.
I feel upstaged.
So yeah, like I'm still finding my feet and I don't.
Mad, I think though. Like
it's so crazy.
When you're so young to have done what you've done.
It does. It just, I kind of forget sometimes that I am the age that I am, but I just kind of, the drive of this is where I want to be sort of takes over. And then I just forget about, oh, I'm actually still a child.
Do you think because we've had this conversation before about like going from school to like Belfast Met or university and you can kind of just start going, right, this is what I'm now interested in and this is what I'm going to pursue. Yeah. And do you think the fact that you did that at like 16, you kind of went, you know what, no, A-levels isn't the way forward, I'm going to go to Belfast Met? Do you think that almost kickstarted this sort of thing where you're like, I'm just going to do what I want and see where it goes and give things a try? You know?
Yeah, 100%. Like I believe that everything works together for good. Yeah. Like decisions that you make, so that's quite deep in the sense that everything that you do will always come together in some sort of good way. So decisions, maybe I could have went on to A-levels and I could have got a degree in something incredible and I could be far richer than I am now, but I am so content in the fact that I have a business that's prospering in the sense I'm helping customers. I'm nearly like a therapist to some customers some days because they come into me and I'm like listening to everything that's going on, and I feel like this is something that I actually haven't talked about before. Like I feel like I'm blonde, I'm a natural blonde, and I'm very like, you know the saying like blondes, everything just goes over. So like I'm able to listen to things and it just goes straight over my head. So, and that doesn't affect me as in I don't get to I'll empathize with the person, but I don't hold on to that. So I feel like that's what kind of as being born and as a person, this is my role, because I can take on people's like troubles without like breaking down. Which is pretty cool. So I really feel like what I'm doing now is literally what I've been born to do, and I feel like everybody has that. Everybody has some sort of like road. Yeah. But it takes different directions all the time. Like if I had done the A-levels, there knows where I would have been. Yeah. But
do you think if you did go down that path, it would have got away from you and you would have sort of went somewhere that you may not have been as happy doing? Potentially.
I mean, I could have been making way more money at it than now, but there's so much more to life than just making a lot of money. Like you have to be happy in what you do. I stand by that. I've done so many talks with like younger people and also people that are older than me, just kind of like inspirational things, and I've been asked to do, and I just say to them like, you need to be happy in what you're doing, because if you don't enjoy it, like working is like 70 or maybe 80% of your life, like oh my god, just enjoy it. Like you have to be happy, and if you're not happy, something needs to shift, because you can't be depressed all, like you cannot be going somewhere every day and thinking I don't want to be here. Now don't get me wrong, like I'll be waking up some mornings and I'm like, if I could just like lie in bed for one more hour, please. But you need that sort of, I really love what I do. Because I will say to people, I really, really love what I do. Because it was what I'm meant to be doing. It's made for me. Like.
And in terms of like the decisions that you've made, obviously like a lot of that stuff you've done, you know, for yourself, not going doing A levels, deciding you want to start the business, quitting like a job to pursue like self-employed work.
That's so hard. Mm-hmm.
What was like the people around you's sort of reaction to that, like mum, dad, you know, siblings and stuff? Were they like, you're clean mad? Or because that's like the stereotypical reaction for most people. They want
100%.
you to play safe.
Yeah. So stripping it right back to whenever I was not going back to school, like people were saying to me, "Why you're not going to uni? Like, what do you think you're doing? Like, you're going to be a baker? Like, where can you go with that?" And it's like, you make buns all day. And I was just kind of like, well, I don't know what I'm going to do with it, and here we are.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But like, it's kind of that young sort of ignorance where it's like, oh, I don't know where it's going to go, but I'm going to try it anyways because I really enjoy it. Yeah. But yeah, my mum, my dad, my family, so supportive. Like every decision that I've made, they obviously challenge me in the sense of they give me the pros and cons. Sometimes that's really hard to hear whenever you have this idea of what you want to go on and do, but you need that so much in your night. You need somebody to challenge you and say, okay, but if it goes this way. And there's so many nights where we've been sitting so frustrated with each other because they're telling me things and I'm like, no, I want it this way. And they're like, yeah, but if it happens this way. And you just realize that, like, okay, yes, we're right. Yeah. But yeah, just everybody in my family has been so supportive, and I feel so blessed because not everybody has that. And that's one thing that if I'm chatting to like groups of younger people or trying to talk about like business things and stuff, and I am so blessed in the fact that I have a really happy family. Not everybody has that, but this is where you need to take control of your own life and say, right, I'm going to create my own happiness, because you can't depend, even though I have a lovely loving family, you can't depend on them to keep you happy all the time. You need to work on that yourself. Yeah, it's a real journey that you have to take. Yeah. Completely.
What's it like? Sorry, go on. Do you want me to go?
Oh, Mexican standoff.
No, I was just gonna say, like, you mentioned talking to young people for a while there. Like, what's like some of the common like worries they have? Like, do you feel like younger people feel the pressure to go to uni, or what's like some of the stuff you be chatting about? No?
I feel like it's changing, like as we speak. Literally, like maybe even back whenever I was at school. So that was like what, 7 years ago or so. Like there was more pressure then to stay in school and do your A levels and go to uni and all that, and that is great for so many people. Now it is changing, and the creative side of people is coming out more, and it's so beautiful to see people kind of just grabbing life by the horns and just being like, yeah, this is the way that I'm gonna do this. But that is the worry. That there was actually a customer came into me one time and she didn't know whether she wanted to go to uni or not, and it was like she was moving away for it if she had to go, and I was like, just if you're gonna just do it, like what is the worst that's going to happen? Because you still have somebody come back to, like, you're young, money comes back. And that's another thing with young people as well. Whenever they ask me, I was doing a talk recently with like a young youth group. They were only maybe like 13 to 15. And I, at the very start, I'd never done this before. I was like, does anybody have any questions? Because at the end, everybody's listening to you and they're so like, oh, I hope they're not bored, but they're like, they're sick of you talking. They're like, would she just go home? But at the start, I was like, does anybody have any questions when he asked me? And this wee young fella with his like North Face was just sitting and goes, are you really rich? And I was like, yeah, I wish I could say yeah. But I was so proud of him for asking me that question. Like, it was so gutsy, and I was just like, fair play to you for asking the question that everybody's thinking. Because like people, because of how blessed I am with what I have, people assume that I'm really rich money wise, and that's not exactly the case. Hopefully in a couple of years time it will be, but this is why I'm breaking my back to do all these crazy hours and put in all this time, so that eventually I could maybe lie up in the Maldives like retired at 44.
I think that is like a common misconception though. People have like, even like my own run a business and like Shay's ones as well, like, and I think like growing up even younger, like people would have that thing of like, oh, you live in a big house, like you're loaded type of thing. So like, how's it been even with your mates and stuff? Like, how have they been around like you starting the business and all?
At the start it was very like, oh, look at Maia, like drinks are on her, and I'm like I'm like in debt right now, like I can't afford this. But everybody, all my friends have been so supportive, and they've come in to see me, and they share the things on Facebook and social media and stuff. But that is the misconception that I am pure minted, and I am minted in ways like I have a great relationship with my family. I have a great relationship with my boyfriend, with my old past teachers, my old employers. I'm so wealthy in that sense. But the only reason I have what I have is because I started in a bakery when I was 15, and I just worked my butt cheeks off to save. And it just so happened that I saved up enough money to be able to do what I could. Now, not everything that I started off with was like the highest tech. Some of it was second hand. The tables and chairs that I bought, I'm only affording to change them now. Like, I got beautiful new tables handmade by a joiner, and they're gorgeous. But the money that I'm making, I'm just putting straight back in, because I'm not finished. You know, there's things that I want to change, and there's things that I want to improve. So it's constant improvement. But if I have one piece of advice for anybody that's younger or older than me and like want to start, just save. But as you get older, it is harder, because you have things like children and you're married or whatever. But save, because you can't get anywhere. That is the bottom line. You can't start without some money behind you. So
obviously you had the support and stuff from your family whenever you're younger, but what was it like when you're in that school age? You've like built friendship groups and stuff, and then you see all your other friends maybe going down a different avenue. Was that difficult?
That was really scary for me, because I thought like I felt like I had to go to college and make completely new friends. Like, I didn't go to college with anybody that I knew, and like I was getting the train up. I remember actually going in the first day, I got I should have got the 7 train. Should have got the 7 train. Class started at 9, and I got the 8 train, so I was in for like 10 to 9 into Great Victoria Street, and I had to like run to like Titanic, and I was bricking it. Came in and like my bag on my shoulder. First day, sweating, wasn't a seat in the classroom, and I was like, oh my god. So I went over to this table and I hovered. I was like, I don't know what else. There's not a seat for me, so I just like hovered, and I was like, I feel so awkward right now. And then somebody really felt bad for me and was like, give this girl a seat. So that was my first impression on my schoolmates. College mates. That was funny. But I was absolutely bricking it, because like it was so new to me. But you need these, you drive off fear. Do you know what I mean? Like, fear isn't always, now rationalize that in the sense that some fear isn't great for you, but use fear sometimes to push you. Totally.
And in terms of then fast forward to, you've obviously started pursuing your career or your passion in baking, and you've started a company which seems to be successful in terms of Blondie Bakes, and obviously someone has came along then and offered you a place which you can build another brand and a cafe and somewhere that you can start, you know, serving customers. So and I know from obviously reading stuff on yourself that you went through like a bit of a program through Mid and East Antrim, like the council, to kind of get yourself set up, and you obviously got the space offered to you by the landlord. Explain that time, like how did that come about? Did both of them things? So did the program with Mid and East Antrim Council come before being offered the place, or did the place come before the program?
So it's the story's just class. It's completely random, and it just makes me feel like this is even more for me. So my landlord bought the building that I'm in. So the building was lying empty for like 40 to 50 years. It was just derelict, and there's so many of my customers now that at the very beginning would have said to me, I drove by this like so many times, the most beautiful building, and it's been lying empty for blah. And I'm like, yeah, I know. It's
like a really like old school train station, like really like red brick, like proper retro vibes.
Yeah, really. They actually won, my landlord and his wife, they're both my landlords, won the National Railways Heritage Awards 2024. So like that is like newly refurbished train stations in the UK.
Yeah,
that's pretty impressive.
That's cool.
Well done, Robert and Anne, on that one.
Good job. Shout
out to Robert and Anne. So Robert's daddy is a real well-known businessman in the town. He services boilers, and like so many people have heard this story, but I just love telling it. He was round at our house servicing our boiler. Our boiler broke at home, and Dad was like, I'm gonna ring a guy that knows a guy, and he'll get this man out to fix our boiler. So he rang him and he was like, oh, I don't really have time. Like, I'll try and squeeze you in if I can. And he called up at the house.
Typical tradesman.
Yeah. I'm so busy.
I'll see, hey.
But to be fair to him, he's a busy man. So he squeezed us in and he was like, right, I'll come and look at the boiler, and that's all right. Came, looked at the boiler. I had I think I had cash on me. Nobody else in the house had cash on them. So I was like, right. I was out doing a message. Mum was like, this man's finished up. Like, I need you to come back and pay him before he goes. That was okay. So in the time it took me to come back from my wee message, it was only like 10 or 15 minutes. He was standing in my back garden and he was chatting away to Mum, and they were talking about, like, he was like, oh, like, what do your girls do? And Mum was like, oh, Elle's in the, and that's my wee sister, Elle's in the animals and Maia's a baker. He goes, oh, baker. And she was like, yeah. And he was like, oh, like, would she ever think about owning her own, like, cafe or, like, bakery or something? And Mum was like, yeah, like, I'm sure she'd love something like that when she's older. And he goes, yeah, my son has an old building that I think would really, really suit something like that. And Mum was like, oh. And he was like, yeah, I think I'll ask her. And Mum was like, what? So I literally landed in the back gate, and Mum was, they were both just standing, like, I can see them. He was standing there, Mum was on the step, and she goes, and they were just standing there, and I was like, is everything okay? Like, what are you doing? And Mum was like, oh, this man has something he wants to ask you. And I was like, this man is a complete stranger. Like, I've never met you in my life. And he goes, oh, like, have you ever thought about opening your own cafe or business? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, what's happening right now? And then he was like, yeah, my son has this old building, talk me through it. And I was 1 month off just turning 20. So, like, I was just like, I was just like, just saying yeah, because I was like, this man was handing me like a big bag of sweets or something. I was like, yeah, this is so cool. Like, forgetting about the fact that it would cost me so much money and it's so much time and blah, blah, blah. Like, I still had a full-time job in that deli as well. So I was like so excited, and I was like, Mom, I can't believe this is happening. Like, and then I was like, right, okay, I need to get not too excited, because like, what if this doesn't work out, and blah, 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 all of the pros and cons. So we kind of set it at peace for a while. I didn't think too much about it, but it was in the back of my head, and I was like, imagine this really happened. Like, this would be so cool. And then I got a call from him, and he was like, do you want to come and have a look at this place? So went in, and like, there was no floor. Like, the walls were like being redone, and I was like, oh my God. I was
imagine.
Like, wow.
And you're looking at
I'm
things
trying so hard to envision like what this would be like right now. So we seen it, and things were still pretty cool, up in the air. And then like, Robert had actually quite big like chain companies in to like have a look around as well. So I actually have him to thank. He seen something in me and was like, yeah, I want that wee girl to work to put her business in here. Like, bearing in mind, I didn't have a business to put in. I had Blondie Bakes, but it wasn't, I just knew that wasn't the business that was going to go in there. It didn't fit. It needed to be a coffee shop. It needed to be a hub for people as well. My dream has always been to create a safe space for people. So like, people that have disabilities, people that have dementia, so many dementia like customers, it's really beautiful. And they just come in, and I don't care if they scream, I don't care if they cry. Like, this is a space where anybody can feel comfortable, and nothing is a problem, because you go into places sometimes, and like, bigger chains, and like big chains are doing so well for themselves, and I'm not for a second dissing them, but the support there in terms of like personal support, like, they're trying to fire through coffees, whereas I love like, it's like creating a bond with a professional bond with customers, and just saying, right, okay, you're safe for the hour that you're going to sit in here with me. And so as soon as I walked into that building, I was like, oh, this place is incredible. Like, even though there was no floor and there was no walls, like the cladding and all was, and whatever, it was like, okay, this is going to be something really beautiful. So that was all right. It took about a year of kind of talking about it. And then I got the go ahead, and I got the keys, and it was like, right, you can start now. And in 7 months, I had the place ready for opening. And it was the quickest, craziest time of my life. Like, I was sitting with my wee iPad, like drawing out kitchens and stuff, and like what 21-year-olds sitting drawing out professional kitchens. Like, it was so bizarre getting contacts, and like, Mom was like, oh, what are you at today? And I was like, oh, I just have a few emails to do and a few phone calls. And she was like,
business mother, you would understand.
So it was just so crazy. But I'd brought on this responsibility of this, so it was a lot. Like, I was drained, but I was so, like, the adrenaline kept me going. It was just like a completely new learning curve. So I had to leave my job, and I was really sad to do that, because I love the people that I work with. And I handed in my notice, and I hugged her and I cried. And I was like, I'm not leaving because I'm upset with you. I'm leaving because I've got this. And they were so supportive, and they just asked me all the time, like, when's this happening, and when, and blah, 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 and everything that happened with it. They were just so supportive, and I'm so grateful. And it was just a matter of like literally getting in, the ovens and like the kitchen counters, and I was picking like furniture, and like I went to IKEA to get, so I started off with all my
IKEA,
I love IKEA. Went to IKEA to get all my stuff. So I mean, like, this is where if you have a business idea, you can start with the cheapest. You know, like my plates cost me £1, and I think my mugs cost me £2. So I went to IKEA to get all my bits and like fired everything into the boot of my car. Like, I'm in a Peugeot 208, and the thing looked like it had been lowered. It was so low to the ground. I was like, how am I supposed to drive this from Belfast to Cullybackey? That was a terrifying journey. So just started like collecting bits. And it was the name that I was really struggling with. I was like, how the heck am I supposed to come up with something? Because like, it's really hard. It really is hard. You don't want to be like tacky or like, I don't know, like Maia's buns. That wouldn't go well in Cullybackey.
I would attract the wrong type of customer.
So yeah, it was a process, but I enjoyed every minute of it. Taught me so much.
Yeah.
How did it work, like in terms of like the financial side of it? Because like the likes of ovens and all, I imagine wouldn't be too cheap. Like,
it was literally, I literally just wrote a list of everything that I needed, and I swear, honest, like everything that I needed, I was able to afford because I just did my research, and like things I got benches secondhand, I got fridges secondhand, and then like the likes of my ice machine and my coffee machine, like it was all brand new, and I just thought it was unreal. I was like, this is so cool. But I literally just started working from I was so young, and I saved up enough, and it was bang on the amount that I needed, and I was just like, this is crazy. Like this must have been for me.
I suppose like you're so young, but like you say, you started when you were 15. Like you've been in like baking since you were like for like 7 years. Like you've 7 years experience in the industry.
Yeah.
Like most people like finish uni or whatever when they're in their early 20s, and like to have like that experience in their own industries, like to be 20 at 30. Like
that's it. I just wanted to get in there. I really wanted to get in with my hands and just start baking. Yeah. And like it really was a matter of like just trusting the process, you know, those like videos and it's like trust the process. That's what it was like, because I had no idea what I was doing, and it was the complete ignorance of being young and blonde and just being like, yeah, I want to own my own cafe and like be a girly girl and like sell buns to people, and then it's sitting with like invoices and this and this, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is a lot different than I thought.
How did you start though? Like, just to go back to the Ticket Bakehouse, like were you the only one working on it? You know, it seems like a lot for one person.
Yeah, so I baked everything myself, ran the shop myself. I actually, so this is one of the things that has been a challenge for me as a business owner, is being an employer. So like everybody that I've had working for me, I love like everybody. I've formed relationships with these people. They're lovely, lovely people. But it's, see, being 21 and 22 and soon to be 23, being a boss is terrifying, because like I'm trying to like have an authority over people that are like my age or like 2 years below me, and it's like, are we friends, or are like, it's really difficult to kind of draw that line, because I'm also a girl, and like I find myself like I'm not very scary. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm not very like, do that or else you're fired. Like it's more like, would you mind if you could take out the recycling, please? And see, I'm still learning that so much, because it's gaining respect, but also like giving the respect too, because these people are working for you, and you're paying them a wage, and you have to protect them, you have to look after them. And also working with the public it's quite a intense thing, because people are only human, and everybody has their down days, everybody has their up days, and sometimes people don't realize the way that they're speaking to you as well. And but it's just stemming from being human. Like we've all had days where maybe we thought we've come out of a place and be like, oh, I was maybe a bit sharp there, you know. So it's dealing with that, and then trying to protect your staff too.
And how do you like, just back to the staff, like how have you found managing? I think that's something that's really interesting, is like you can sort of, even like in work and stuff, you can sort of see like people have that relationship, like balancing that relationship, like you say, of like you want to get on with people, but then like I suppose the higher up people you almost in the companies, like almost you see take a step back. Yeah. So like when it comes to maybe being a bit more like authoritative or whatever, like it's not like it's difficult. Like how have you found that yourself?
It's so difficult. Like it genuinely has been the hardest thing, and like I've had hard things happen. Nothing traumatic. Nothing. I'm very blessed and able to say that nothing that traumatic has happened to me, in the sense that, you know, I don't know, anybody's had to get involved or whatever. But like it's just it's having those boundaries with these people.
That's what I was trying to get say. Like do you have to do you draw a line somewhere where you're almost like you don't want to be getting too involved with people or getting too close to people, really?
It's a professional. You have to remind yourself that these people, they are your friends, but you're also their boss, and it's a professional relationship. And as much as I would love to go out for drinks with you on Saturday night, it's really not a good idea.
Yeah.
And it's not that nothing bad would happen, but there's just potential there for the respect to drop. Because at the end of the day, the Ticket Bakehouse is my baby. This is something that it's literally me. Everything about it is me. I'm doing it pretty much on my own. I have no management. It's a scary thing to have on you as well. It's quite a lot of pressure.
It's a lot of responsibility.
It's a lot of responsibility because I'm trying to every day serve people. And it's more than just food and coffee. It's being polite and showing interest in their day and making sure as soon as they come in the door, that's something so important to me. As soon as a customer comes in the door, even if I'm busy or doing something, it's hiya, I'll be with you in 1 minute, just to make people feel like they're heard and they're seen and that I'm not ignoring them. Or I just find that 1 second of interaction can completely change somebody's day and mood. And just being interested in somebody, well, how are you today and how's things going? And it sounds so, it's almost like I'm reading off a script every day. And I don't mean that in the sense I don't care. I just mean I'm repeating myself all day.
I think as well, from knowing where your bakehouse is located, it's a high traffic footfall area in terms of people coming for a train.
Yeah, 100%.
But you're not based on Greenfield Street in Ballymena where it's people are just walking past on their lunch break. Yeah. So you have to rely on, your customer services and your experience when a customer walks through your door to bring them back again or to spread word of mouth. Because I know for me, if I was going to your place, I would have to drive and it would be a location that I would physically have to go to as opposed to me wandering through Ballymena and going, there's that shop. I must call in there for a quick coffee. So it's a lot of, it is a lot of responsibility.
It is a place that you have to physically go to. I know I get the footfall from people heading on the train to their work or to uni, and I do get a load of repeat customers that way, and it's lovely. But this is what really made me feel like I'm doing something good. I have customers that'll come down from Coleraine, sit for the hour, on the train, come down from Coleraine, sit for the hour, and then go back. And there's one in particular, this older fella, and he is so lovely, and he's been with me since I've opened. Gets the train down from Coleraine, sits with me for the hour and goes back. And he's recently, when I say he's older, he's maybe in his 70s. He's recently got a new girlfriend, and he brought her to my place for a first date. And I was just sitting going, this is the reason why I'm doing this. It was pure magic. And now they still come in for the wee dates, and it actually melts my heart because I'm this, you thought this place was special enough that you could start this relationship with this person. And
never know. God. Hey, you could be getting down to one knee in the next couple of weeks.
Listen, get the rock out. Yeah. Oh, brilliant. Stop buying coffees with me, actually, and start affording a ring.
Here, it's on me, this one. You put that away.
Need to look after them there. But it's real. It's been a real natural growth as well. In terms of marketing and stuff, it's just word of mouth. Yeah. And seeing my customers, I owe so much of what I have to my customers, because people that have been with me from day one, that's over 1.5 years ago now, and they are so loyal. And there's one, I was actually chatting to one of my girls that works for me on a Saturday. I have 2 girls at 18, and she was saying, that fella was in, he gets 6 cherry scones every Saturday morning. He has been in there from day dot every Saturday. And see, if he's not in, I'm where is he today? Yeah. Is he all right? And it's just for his family, for his breakfast that day and for the next morning. It is so magic. People are literally committing to coming into me. And I had one customer as well. I just love the stories from people as well. One customer texted me and being I'm just letting you know I won't be around for a wee while. Just a few things going on. But I just didn't want you thinking I went somewhere else. This is you are so special. This is incredible. Yeah. So, I owe a lot to them.
In terms of getting started, then you obviously crack your story in terms of being offered that place and that opportunity. But then I suppose for anybody listening who's around the same age as yourself or older, anybody just looking to start a business, I don't think a lot of people think, I think a lot of people think that they have to do it on their own, but you obviously got a bit of a help through like a program and stuff. So like explain, you don't obviously have to advertise them or anything, but just a bit about like what that was like. Was there any sort of big shocking factors where they like maybe pointed something out to you, which if you were on your own, you probably wouldn't have realized? Sort of explain that side of things.
Yeah, so I did. I started in, so as soon as I got the idea for this business, I was like, basically what I was looking for was funding as well. Because I was so young, and I was like, I don't know if what I have is enough, and whatever. So I started going online, and I came across the Go For It program. It's actually now called Go Succeed with the council. So I was like, right, I'm just going to email somebody and just, see what response I can get back. They were so helpful. They got back to me straight away, and they literally were like, right, we'll give you a business mentor. Now this was just after COVID, so it was all over Zoom. So it probably is a bit more different now where it gave that face-to-face interaction. But I can't remember, what was it called? Paul. I think he might have been called Paul. If he's not called Paul, I'm really sorry. But he basically just Zoom called me every now and then and just told me like things that I maybe wouldn't have thought of in my own head. So like financially where I would kind of need to be in a day to sort of either like to cover my costs and to make a profit. So he gave me this like round figure, and in my head I'm going, I have to make this money in a day. Like this is crazy. But it that kind of gave me like an expectation of what I'm in for. So I would say the overall experience, it gave me a general expectation. So like, I'm really going to have to work for this because people are relying on me. Also, like they gave me like the contacts I have from doing that program is incredible. Like I get asked to go to events by the mayor, like to speak about my journey and my story, who is also just such a lovely, lovely woman. And just speaking to other business people, and it is so exciting too, because like I really am such a small, like I'm such an early start, like, and I'm so blessed in that way, but I have so much to learn. And see, being at these events and like talking to people that have done it before, and it's so inspiring to me, but then it's also inspiring to them too, because they maybe have children of their own that they can, say, you should have a look at this girl and see what she's doing, and ask her questions. Like I'm all there for people asking me things. I love to give advice, and I'll not always be right, and I'll not always know like what I'm talking about, but I try my best, and that's where I want people to know, is that I'm just being myself, honest. I'm trying to be as honest as I can, and through my food and through my business and how I talk to people, because I genuinely care, and that's more than making money to me as well. But I'm such a ramble. We were talking about Go For It. Really good experience. It just gets your foot in the door, basically. And it gives you that sort of confidence as well, that you have something on paper in front of you, on your phone, in your emails, and it's like the first draft, basically. And then with the new Go Succeed program, they're doing funding now as well, which is really cool, because that hasn't happened for a long time. It's something that I didn't get, but I'm really excited for like smaller businesses to get that. It will be so helpful. And just guidance. All you need is somebody to say, you can do this, like.
And is that funding like available for anyone? So like, can anyone just come in with an idea for a business, and what basis do they sort of give out the funding on?
I'm not 100% sure on that, but you just need to have an idea and a passion, and you just need to, I'd say you probably need some sort of business plan. So whenever I did my Go For It thing, they kind of drafted me like a rough business plan. It's probably sitting with dust on it now, but like your business plan isn't set in stone. Like your business plan changes. Like my business plan has probably changed 20 times since I've opened in a year and a half, and it's just something that will give you the confidence to say, this is my business idea and I'm going to see where this takes me. It's really not set in stone. But
that'll help you develop it more or less.
But it's just having that peace of mind that something is on paper and it's actually going to happen. Just if you need help with a business idea, just go online and just ask Go Succeed for help, and they'll put you in the right direction.
I think that's the thing. Like a lot of people, when you talk to younger people especially, and they say like I love talking to younger people now, because they do have a lot more ambition than I would say like someone like 10 years on them would, because I think we're kind of conditioned to play things safe. 100%. And I know like around like sort of our age at 20, 25, 26, we're kind of coming out of that, and the people that are younger than us, like yourself and stuff, is a bit more just just do it. But when it actually comes to putting that into practice, it can be very overwhelming because you're sitting there going like, it's all good and well me getting these keys, walking into this beautiful building and oh, well, I'm going to put an oven here, but then it's like, how do I actually make money at this? And totally. Like, you know, opening the doors is one thing, and that's why I say starting an online business is probably you've access to more people and quicker sort of wins, whereas your business relies on footfall and traffic coming through the door. Totally. So like, did a lot of your footfall and did a lot of that marketing pre-launch, was it through Blondie Bakes or was it through word of mouth, or like how did you kind of? How
did I do that? Blondie Bakes kind of took a pause for a wee while. I was focusing on this. How did I do it? I can't even remember. Because
I'm just picturing like you opening the door on like Monday.
Yeah.
Just standing.
And you're like looking out the window. Buns being like, can somebody come and buy these so I can afford to open this place? No, I think it maybe just stems from the name. So I really struggled to come up with a name. I was like, how am I going to come up with a name that is like really cool and like you have it on a mug, by the way. So I was standing, literally, this is quite like cliche, I was standing in my home kitchen baking for an order, and I was like, right, it was an old ticket office, like Ticket, and I really loved the word bakehouse. I was like, this is really cool, like bakehouse, is there any bakehouses? Yeah, it's bougie. I was like, this is upmarket, like people gonna spend some money here. I was like, bakehouse, and like I literally had like a spider diagram of a million, I mean like at least 30 names, and like none of them spoke to me at all. I was like, I don't like any of these, and I was like, how am I supposed to open a business when I have no name? And then I was standing baking, and I was like, there used to be a ticket office, and I was like, the ticket office, ticket bakehouse, and I was like, holy god, I was like, oh my god. So I literally like rang my mom straight away in tears, and I was like, I think I have a name. And I texted my another relative of mine, I was like, I think I have a name, and he goes, I don't like it. And I was like, oh, and I was like, well, I do like it. But that's what you need, also your family, like to ground you in that sense, where like you get really excited about an idea, but you just need to sit and work out, is it right or is it not right? And then you figure out that it is right. But so from the business name, I just started a page and I was like launching, and it was pure like natural. There is a word for that.
Like organic growth.
It was organic growth. And I have a really large family that they're like keyboard warriors. Like they love Facebook. All my aunts and uncles, like shout out to all of them. Like shared this wee page, and they were like, my great niece and my granddaughter and blah blah blah, and shout out to the Melons. And people just shared from that, and then like it wasn't a huge following, like don't get me wrong, this is only a couple hundred people, but for starting is totally fine. And then I just said, look, I'm opening, and because of the nature of the building as well, like people seen the van out there all the time, and they seen like me running in and out like I don't know, and they were like, oh, this is really cool. And it's just pure nosiness as well, like
100%. You're in like probably one of the nosiest villages. People know
everybody loves to know. So and then it was just like, I'm gonna pop my head in, and I still get people that come in and they're like, oh, I'm not going to buy anything, I'm just nosy. I'm like, that's okay, come on in.
Get out!
Buy anything else?
How important do you think like the location's been, like being like where there is so much foot traffic? Because like I suppose like it's mad to think how the opportunity came up and how good of an opportunity it was, and like say you had passed on it, you could have opened a bakery like a couple of years later and maybe not as good a location. I know. So like how important has that been?
Like so important. I think literally just the nature of the beautiful building and its history, and then the fact that it's on a train station. Like people are always going through a train station. There's all like it was actually a real need, and also that was something that I was really nervous about whenever I started. There's also 2 coffee shops in Cullybackey at the minute, and I was like, I don't want to step on their toes for one. Like
did you get any sort of like people coming in like, oh?
I don't know. Like people probably came in and was like, oh, we'll see what she's doing. And like who
said napkins slide through your door one day. Get out.
There's already 2. But no, there is enough to go around, and I love the fact that my customers will come to me on a Tuesday, go to the other 2 on a Thursday and a Friday. There's enough business for everybody, and everybody's doing fine. But what was I talking about?
The location.
The location and the footfall. Like everybody loves a coffee on the train. Like they really do.
So I was going to say, like it is this never actually twigged with me, because I'm sitting here thinking like it is quite you physically have to go to it, but then I'm also thinking the other side where it's like the to-go side of like people like going and getting a coffee. That never actually dawned on me until like just this second. I'm like, oh, she's onto something here.
But
I've done this before.
Someone has a business plan.
Like a lot can be said about marketing, and like I feel like even though I work in the industry, I think like you've said before, like on the podcast, like about like not having the money to put into paid, like and like the importance of having like a location like that where like it's that traditional thing of like people are just passing, and it sounds so simple, but like it's so important, like, do you know,
like marketing is such an important part of your business, and people spend so much money on marketing, and to be honest, I wish I could afford it. I really do, but I kind of need the lights on for customers coming in.
The thing is though, the way you're doing it now is the way, because obviously like Tommy, you'd be more paid, like have more experience in like paid side of things than I would, but like you know yourself, if you put out paid ads and bring people down that funnel and bring them into the business, if it's a naturally quite a not a well-run business or bad customer service or a bad experience, they'll come in and they'll not stick around.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're getting like, you're building the foundations off, you know, and organically, like I know like my mum and stuff has said to me, oh, you getting that girl on that runs that Ticket Bakehouse in Cullybackey? Yeah, because she's part of the Nosy clan. She's
the one who comes in.
Yeah, she'll be coming. I'm not buying anything. I'm just she would buy something off you. And if she hasn't, I'll tell her off. But yeah, like it's like what you've done is awesome. But I suppose before we kind of wrap it up, go into like the success side of things, building the business and what it is. Can you share? Have there been any sort of struggles? Has there been any downs that or any sort of mad sort of things that you've had to overcome?
I suppose like just being young, like I am young and responsible for this building. So like I know I have a landlord, I rent the place, but it is my responsibility to keep the place safe, to keep the place, like keep the people that I employ safe. So I did have an incident one time where somebody broke into like the area that I was in, but it was nothing major, but that was quite a shock to me.
You're waiting with a rolling pin to...
Yeah. My mum was like, you should have a rolling pin there. But I just kind of like closed the door of the bakery. So that was something that was quite, at the time, really scary, because I was like all my sort of like big girl responsibilities went out the window, and I was like, right, okay, I'm just a teeny woman, like please don't hurt me. But it was fine. It wasn't a really serious situation. But
the break in when you were there, like,
yeah,
what a terrible burglar.
After hours, I know. Yeah, while I was closed.
What was that like?
I was just in the bakery like whipping up some banana bread, and I just heard this rustling, and I was like,
they were walking by and smelt the sweet aroma. I was like, what's in there?
Give me a slice or else. Yeah, it wasn't, but that was a scary situation, in the fact that you need to keep yourself completely professional with people. Yeah. So like you can show people that you care, but you just have to keep those boundaries in terms of like, you'll not be going out for coffee with your customers. Yeah. You know, you'll have coffee with your customers inside. But yeah, just wee things like that. Like it's nothing really that dramatic has happened. You know, I've had like at the very beginning, like I got my mixer delivered and the thing was like $1,500, and whenever they took the box off it at the bottom of the stairs, it was cracked in half, and I was like, I don't think I can use this, like, and that delayed my opening time. And then just silly things like no Wi-Fi and all, but nothing, touch wood, nothing scary has happened. But I kind of feel like it is what you make of it. Do you know what I mean? Like these challenges, like I didn't have a card machine for I'm pretty sure it was like the first week open, and I was bricking it. I was like, how are people going to pay? We had the busiest few days ever, and like people were more than everything.
Sorry to interrupt you. It's just mad that like that's the thing now. Like, do you know, like it's a worry that like if you don't have a card machine, like people don't use cash anymore. Like.
Please use cash. Also, cash is king.
I went out for lunch with a mate the other day. Yeah. Went to a well-known cafe in Ballymena. And
I love all these places are well-known.
No, like I don't want to name
me and Cher, like what?
They were
where?
They were like walked in, and to be fair, it's well known that they're cash only. They're a big place.
Yep.
You may as well just name it now, like
cash only, and I was like, oh, like you're sitting there, and you're like, I need to go across the road. Like I have no cash.
100%.
I'll tell you afterwards.
Yeah. I know exactly where you're going.
We know.
They do a good breakfast.
Yeah, but like,
what about that place normal?
But
it's like, I always have my card on me. I always forget. And see now, since opening a business, I'm like, right, okay, I'll carry some cash with me to tip or to, but you know, because I pay like a percentage on every single transaction.
Surcharge.
You tap with your card or your phone, and that's a lot. Like when it all boils down, that is a lot. So to support small businesses, it is best to use cash, but it's understandable. Everybody uses card.
Like you've sort of talked about like being ambitious and wanting to like grow the business. Like what would sort of be like the future? Like what would be your goal to achieve with it? Like,
I have so many crazy goals, but like I say crazy, but like even what's happening to me now is crazy. Do you know what I mean? Like it's mad. I'm so blessed with what I have. But I'd love to open a pizza garden.
Oh
yeah, it's in the process.
That's
it's real, like an after hours sort of like once a week pizza garden. I don't know if I'd love more shops. I don't know if I'd love to supply shops. I really don't know. Like when I was younger, my goal was to own a hotel. So have like the Ticket Hotel.
You never know.
Cinnamon swirls on your pillow at night. I don't know, but like if I could give anybody any piece of advice, it is literally just chase your dreams. Like I know that just sounds so cliche, but like if I didn't just on a whim say yes to this, like I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing.
And if your boiler hadn't broke?
Listen, everything works together for good. Yeah.
But like one thing I would say from talking to you over the past while is like, you know, obviously we're saying we're focusing a lot on like your age and stuff, but like I would say you're probably one of the most maturest people I've came across, like in terms of just even the way you're like talking about stuff. Like you seem really clued in, and just like that does come across. It's just
having the passion for it. That is literally it. I know I'm young and you can open a business at any age, but it is literally just having the passion for it. Like everything that we make, like I am so blessed as well to say that I employ people. Like I am inspired. Like the girl that helps me bake or bakes for me, she's only 17 years old, and I employed her on another whim, just that she loved baking and I could see potential in her, and now because she was so young, I've kind of trained her and molded her into the way that I bake, because everybody bakes so differently. So like obviously she will grow into her own flair, but for now she's baking just like me, and like that makes me feel so amazing. Like it's like I'm spreading what I'm learning, because like this isn't all just about me. This is about like creating experiences for people and inspiring people, and just like telling people that this will and can happen to you if you're so passionate about it. Like why would it not? You know, just ask yourself that.
I think being like, I know I keep going back to the age thing, like, but I think like because you started so young, you could probably see potential in people like that maybe other businesses wouldn't see, where you're like I started when I was 15, you know, like there's no reason why you can't hire somebody who might be just starting out and like,
100%.
just have, like you said, like a passion for baking. Like
everybody has everybody has a passion for something, like anything. Like it doesn't matter what. I remember one time actually chatting, it was at the very beginning, to young school kids, and I was asking, does anybody have a business idea, and this one fella was like, yeah, I really like llamas, so I might own a llama farm. And all his wee friends just started laughing at him, and I was like, you own a llama farm then? Like that is friggin' class.
Get your llamas. Love it.
I love it. Honestly,
there is actually quite a well-known llama farm. I think it's
that's your buddy.
Get your llamas.
That's the way she was talking to.
No.
He's 15 now and he has 56 llamas.
But it's literally just having like who cares? Like nobody, people judge, but at the end of the day, are they paying your bills? Do you go home with them every night? Like this is your life. Do whatever the heck you want, respectively. Like, but just if you have something that makes you so happy, like I
think it's cool as well, the fact that we've like focused a bit on the money side of things, where it's like obviously like your business has to be earning money to be like, that's the reality of it, to be profitable, to employ people, to keep the lights on. But as well as that, I think a lot of people base their success on like I'm not opening up this bakery, or I'm not doing this if it's not turning over like 200 grand every quarter.
Let that go.
It's like from your side, like you're coming in as quite a business in its infancy, being able to say like this is the realities, but as long as you're able to, it's all about the growth. It's all about how you can take it to opening up a pizza 100%. Garden, which would be class in Cullybackey.
I think it's so cool. It's
I'm sure someone has a field somewhere.
Yeah. I have a wee space. I've got something in mind. But
watch this space.
Watch this space.
Ross just put a shed in the back of his garden. So
Yeah.
get in touch with him.
I've been
It's
in
a
shit.
shed. Don't stay mad. Yeah, it's just letting, like, how do I explain without sounding really cocky? Like, let the money side of it go. Money's gonna come and go, and if this business doesn't work out for me, I will get a job in the spa.
Yeah.
Like I will get a job to get me through. At least I tried it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, and I really hope this business does work for me because it is my heart and soul, and I love making people happy with food and with chat. And like some people, I actually have customers that just don't even want food that day.
Yeah.
They just want chat
Yeah.
because they'll know that I'll sit and listen to them for a bit. Like I don't know what advice I give them that they take on board, but just having somebody to listen to, and especially a stranger is like really cool. But it does sound a bit arrogant of me to say let the money side of it go, but it will come. But you have to show your customers the utmost respect whenever they come in. Anything they need, give it to them, because they in turn are going to fund your whole lifestyle. So like, yes, you're making the money yourself, but you're making money off people, nice genuine people. And I just feel like they deserve all the respect.
Yeah.
Because they're funding you. Like this is, if you want to get anywhere, these are the people that are going to send you on that holiday.
Yeah.
Totally.
What's your favourite thing to bake?
Everybody asks me this question. I don't have an answer.
What's your least favourite thing to bake?
Oh, that's a good one too. Oh my god, I actually don't know. I love making cinnamon swirls.
Cinnamon swirls are
There's one there.
My name's on that one. Thank you very much. What's
Got it in
what's like what are you most like famous for in terms of like what the customers come in and be like, if there's nothing in on the display, they're like, right, I'm out.
Sausage rolls.
Sausage rolls.
Yeah, so like we do like sausage rolls that would actually choke you out. And they are so dense, they're so big, and people just absolutely rave about them. And they're just really chunky sausage rolls. And then I do like plain ones and different flavours. But there's people that literally travel to get them, and I'm like, you came all this way for sausage rolls? And they're like, yeah. And then if they're not there, they're like, oh, we'll be back in tomorrow, and they'll just go. And I'm like, I apologise, but what I have out that day is what I have out. That's what I promote as well, is fresh. Everything is so fresh, because like, why would you pay for something that isn't that's been sitting there looking at you for 9 days?
That's it too. Like if you're every day, you want everything to be fresh. If you have a bad off day and you put some bad stuff out, someone comes in for the first time, tries for the first time. Exactly. Bad impression.
100%. So giving every single customer the exact same experience every single time they come in, they're gonna come back. That's growth. That is what means the most to me. The money will come. Yep. The money will totally come.
It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on. And thank you very much for telling your story. It was awesome. And we wish you all the best. We'll obviously tag you and everything in the description below. So if you want to give Maia a follow, please do. And obviously, if you're passing through Cullybackey, stop in at the Ticket Bakehouse and grab some sausage rolls and cinnamon swirls. I'm going to grab mine for these others who steal it. But listen, thank you very much for coming on.
All the best. Really good.